Hey everyone, welcome to a special edition of the Local Soccer Show. Usually it's our good friend Steve that's the host, but tonight we're going to be flipping the roles. I'll be asking the questions and Steve is going to be answering them. We have a special program tonight for a very good reason. We're going to be talking about what it's like to run a club in the background, especially when it comes to the administration and the volunteers who become counselors and have a role to play in the administration of the club. So, our good friend Steve is going to talk about his adventure in CSRDP, how he wanted to be involved, not only helping out as a coach, but also as an administrator. So, we're going to play the intro video and we're going to have Steve share his story. Hey, Steve, welcome to the local
The local
soccer show,
soccer show.
where you're usually the host. So tonight I'm gonna be asking the question. So, well, first of all, how you doing? How was your weekend?
Very good weekend, Marcello. We're recording on Tuesday, so we know that Italy has qualified. Sorry, we're recording on Monday, and we know that Italy has qualified for the Euro. So very happy, and I think this is a great opportunity to get some a different feel, especially for me. Like you said, I'm used to being on that left hand side of the screen. Tonight, I'm on the right hand side of the screen. For everybody else, however, you're flipped. It's just total opposite because Marcello's asking the questions and I'll be answering. So I'm interested to see the questions you have in store because we kept local soccer show tradition. I have no idea what Marcello's going to ask me.
No, exactly. We try to keep it as spontaneous as possible, although I did give a hint at the beginning why we're doing this. So we're not going to be talking about stuff on the page like we usually have with other guests. Today it's more in the background. So why don't we start off with you share a little bit of your story, not going too much in detail, but you have a profound attachment to CSRDP from when you were a kid to when you're actually coaching now your own son and you wanted to take it to another level. So why don't you share that journey with
Yeah, so
CSRDP?
that's a great segue, Marcello, to exactly the reason why we're doing this show. So, for those who don't know me, Stefano's my real name. I go by Steve Polillo around RDP and around town. My mom doesn't even call me Stefano anymore. But uh, as you could see, with the local soccer show, we have these fantastic guests that come on, and I do have a reference point all the time, and it is CSRDP, right? So I've played at this club my entire life. Just looking and reminiscing through old pictures. I have to say, at least born in '81. I'm pretty sure that I'm playing at CSRDP in 1985, 85, 86 for sure. And again, having a playing career, being able to play in that era was much different than this era, which we totally understand. But through soccer, I was able to make friends. I was able to, make friends that I'll touch a little bit on this a little bit later. Friends that I still talk to today and still play with today in garage leagues. Going to tournaments, the parents, they were, usually from immigrants from Italy and Italian heavy. They got together and they became a family, right? So, excuse me. And I remember those memories as a child very vividly. And going through this club and working, like playing at the club and going through the ranks and being able to play AAA at CSRDP was, the highest that I ever got to. I was just wasn't very good after that. But when and I had stopped a bit with regards to soccer once I stopped playing, at the club level and just with my friends in different leagues around the city, to start a family and to continue my career. once Jeff, I talk about Gianfranco on the show a lot because he does play, and when he was born, I wish that he would want to play soccer, and he started to play soccer, likes to play soccer, and continues to play soccer. I wanted him to have those same memories that I had when I was a kid. So he knows how much the club is important to me. A lot of the people that I talk to, on a daily basis, either at CDCs or at games or on this show, know how much the club, you know, is important to me. And I thought, if I could give back with coaching, that's great. But if I could give back a little bit more and bring in some of my expertise, what we do here on Milan Weekly Podcast, what I do for a living as a project manager, uh, you know, just my contacts, my circle of friends, the circle of friends and their circle of friends as it extends. You know better than I do, Marcello. It's the friendship and word of mouth is social media on steroids, right? So uh, that's why I wanted to get into the board of this club last year. And long story short, last year I was not valid and I say not valid in quotations because of the bureaucracy of bylaws and the way general assemblies need to run. I stayed with it. I took it. I wasn't happy. I'll be very honest with you. I was actually very frustrated about that because I only wanted to give back and I only wanted to help. I have no agenda, and you know me, Marcello. I have no agenda here. It's not for me to take over the club. It's not for me to be technical director, to be president. I'm not interested in that. I have a young family. I have a young kid. I just want to be able to give back, and I want to be able to make decisions properly, structurally, and for the future of this club and the kids at this club. That's all.
Well, that's very honorable of you because already we know, having gone through it, just coaching our kids, it takes up a lot of our time, especially during the season. And doing this on top of that, I don't know how often you'll meet, but safe to assume maybe once a month, the administrators are going to have to meet to discuss what's going on with the club, budgeting, and all that. So that's additional time you're giving back to do things and have them, as you mentioned in the past to me as well, maybe have a different approach, have a more modern approach to doing things. So it's one of the things I wanted to ask you, from what you've seen coaching and what you've gone through in terms of organizing things for your team. What are areas of improvement that you can see someone bringing a different perspective, such as yourself with your work experience, that you could think would make the experience better for the kids and the parents that
Yeah.
get it?
Just to preface that a little bit, right? General assemblies, and through just education on my own and going through this and reading up on it, the odd numbers. There's certain positions to these administrative roles. Administrator 1 to 5 or 1 to X, depending how your board is structured, president, vice president, so on and so forth. Just to not bore everybody with what it is, uh, the role that I'm going for is administrator number 5. And if we go by the bylaws of CSRDP as they're written right now, administrator 5 is communication, right? So uh, I think that a club the size of CSRDP should be absolutely astronomically visible from everywhere. I think that it should not be hidden in the shadows. That's why I decided to take this route in terms of, we're going to call it campaigning, but I'm you know, just bringing to light exactly what the General Assembly is and how the members can make a choice and have a vote and need to come out and vote, and not make it this secret society that no one knows about till the day of, and who's running and who's. I want it to be open, Marcello. I wanted to tell people I am not afraid to say that I'm running for administrator. I'm allowed. I'm valid. So are other people that are running for administrator positions. I touched upon it earlier. A good friend of mine, Nick Bagnoli, we grew up playing soccer. We have a picture identified as 1986 playing together at
Wow.
CSRDP, right? So I've known Nick my whole life. He's a father of two. He runs his own business. Uh, he's a fantastic person and just wants to give back. We need people like this. If it's me, if it's Nick, another gentleman that's running, who I met who I knew before soccer, and then met because our kids were the same age. Marco La Molinara, he's loud. He loves to, he loves to put things on. He's not afraid to talk and give his opinion. We need people like that, right? You
Yeah.
need different people in a board like this, because each one can bring their own strengths. Each one needs to have a voice, and each one needs to continue to think of long term, right? Let's not think short term, let's think long term. And sitting here and you're saying, just to go back to your question, what can I bring? It's exactly what we do here in Marcello. Educate people on exactly what's going on. What's going on? Let's start from inside our own club. Let's we'll have a guest. We'll have two guests actually later on this week that we'll probably record and post as soon as possible. They're two coaches from CSRDP. They put on a crazy project where they took their kids and sent them to France and made them train with a French team. And I won't go into too much details, but these two guys need to be celebrated. You know, they
Yeah.
need the people need to know that this is happening, not because, oh, look at my club, look what we did, we went to France. No, they did it for the kids. And in the end, that's the goal. It's the kids. It's communication, transparency. We don't want no coach who gives up their time. And like you said, we'll probably give up even more time because we're going on a board and we're going to be making some decisions that we may or may not make everybody happy. The last thing he wants to do is, frustrated parents or frustrated members that don't have answers. When members ask questions, they need to have an answer, whatever it is. It could be the condition of the balls, to how to rent a field, or when are the tryouts, or can I buy a hoodie, a CSRDP hoodie? Can I buy a CSRDP toque? These things need to be out there in the open. And again, a very important part of today's local soccer club is social media and your image, whether we like it or not. Yes, it is for the kids, but it is also a brand, and the brand is very important because the brand is almost like your business card. I like to compare it to that when I'm trying to explain it to someone. The logo is your business card. What you do at the club is your business card. It's not. We have to remove ourselves from this mindset of, oh, look at club X, where they're always posting that they're winning trophies. Well, they're doing something right. Let's not look at them winning trophies as why they're posting stuff. They're posting things like this because they're doing something right, and they're developing kids that are able to win these trophies. Let's have that mindset you know instead of the competition between local soccer clubs. Marcello, we've
Yeah.
always said it. I want to bring local soccer clubs together to collaborate more. That's on the island, off the island, and to different continents. I think that's a huge, huge step for any local soccer club, and that's to make connections and to make professional collaborative projects like the two gentlemen that we'll have later on in the week,
Mhm.
where you're exchanging ideas, you're talking, you're able to accept constructive criticism, do something, take something that they're doing well and implement it here. It's ideas like this, and I'm scratching the bucket here, but in a nutshell, that's the experience that we bring, right? Because we are of a different generation than the people that are at the club right now. And again, they've done fantastic things, but it's time to there's a little bit of new blood that needs to be injected, and a little bit of new energy needs to be injected for things like this to be successful. Now, people are saying, you're making it sound really easy. I have no doubt that it's absolutely not an easy undertaking.
Yeah.
But the way I'm looking at it is that this is not going to be Stefano or Steve Polillo who's going to change this in a week. This is a project that members also need to understand will take some time. It does not happen overnight, and we credit the clubs, like I credit the clubs like the Ville Saint Laurent, the AS Laval, the FC Laval, the Lac Saint Louis. They're doing something right. Do they have their own problems? Absolutely, Marcello.
Hmm.
But they're doing something right. Can we acknowledge that they're doing something right, and maybe look to try to mimic or copy or ask how they're doing things? There's too much image competition, or I don't even want to say jealousy, but I want that to stop, and I want to be able to work with other clubs to help my club you know go on and progress to the next level.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about this many times where, everyone looks in their own tunnel vision and worries only about what's good for them, and it could be to the detriment of the whole community. So it's definitely important that we continue to pass on the message of sharing and trying to do things that are good for everyone, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. So one thing you touched on that I agree with you when it came to the part with the social media, like you gave the analogy like with the business card. I think you should take it even another step further where, when it comes to communication, you could send out emails to your members to give them information what's going on. Each club would have a website with information, and then you could use social media to remind people of certain things that are going to take place with dates and events and all that. I think that's just the bare minimum when it comes to that stuff. The other thing you can do with the social media is associate the branding of your club. What is your club all about? What's the experience like? What are you trying to promote as values? So when you want to promote your services and people want to join the club, they'll get a feel for the type of people that are there, how things are run, the atmosphere and the environment that goes along with it. And I find that clubs that do that well are always the ones that are better perceived in the community versus ones that don't do it at all. So I think that could be an area of opportunity where you doing your role with the podcast, you've been a spokesperson for change for the greater good of the soccer community. So I think that would be very beneficial, something you could bring to enlighten people on that aspect.
Yeah, and absolutely, and it's taught to, and it's thanks to Milan Club Montreal, that we got to meet each other, right, Marcello, back many many moons ago. We were two Calabresi from completely different sides of the island, but the love for a club like Milan brought us
Yeah.
together, right? So if you take that now, it's a different project on its own. A local soccer club should be like that as well. It should bring people together. It should be almost like a stage for these kids. And an important part is, like there is some kids that really do excel in soccer and they're very good and they need a pathway. And I think that local soccer and the club in their area should be almost like a chaperone to that process, right? It should be someone that can guide them into making maybe tough decisions, and not only the kids, the parents too, right? And be proud that yes, the kid is leaving your club at 14, 15 years old, but he's going to take your business card, which is that logo of the local soccer club that he played at, with him for the rest of his life. And when hopefully when someone looks him up on EAFC 2029 or EAFC 3032, and he played at CSRDP, the people at the club have something to smile about, right? And say that he passed through that, right? And it's something that maybe it's lost, maybe it's something that uh, a bad experience, but I think the local soccer clubs need to understand their role in this player's career, right? So yes, you want to keep kids at your club, you want to you want to win trophies. I understand all that, but the important thing to remember all the time is that there's a long-term goal, so especially with women's soccer, and that's something that CSRDP struggles with. Women's soccer is booming. It's fantastic. There's a lot of pathways. Well, you as a local soccer club need to be a chaperone for these young women and where they're gonna go. If they take, with great guests like we had, the Jack Marziliano and his son Anthony, and so on and so forth, right? And that direction to the United States or to Europe or to MLS next, wherever direction you want to go, the local club needs to be a part of that, so that that the parents have someone to look back on, and a support system of, yes, I'm making the right decision. So that's another area, right? So
Hmm.
Marcello, we've talked about it so much, right?
Yeah.
We've been doing this show to educate people. Now, if
Mm.
I'm gonna do it here, and I can have a platform where I have a club that I can make certain decisions where we can actually implement the things that we talk to, for sure I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put on my working pants. I'm gonna put on my construction boots, and I'm gonna go to work. Right? I'm not afraid to work.
Yeah.
So it's something that I've always wanted to do. Right? I knew I wanted to give back, and I think this is the time for me. Uh, you know, to put in my candidature like I did. Hopefully, the members come out and they vote for me. And then the project starts, right? Get together with the board. And again, I cannot repeat it so many times. It's not one person that's going to change this. It's everybody. And
Yeah.
it's not only the board, it's everybody: technical staff, technicians, coaches, administrative people. It's everywhere. It's the whole club needs to come together and want to change. That's the most important thing. And on that little, I'll call it the little campaign poster that we had, it was development and change, because those are two fundamental aspects of local soccer. The number one, development, should be stapled and tattooed on every local soccer club's logo. And change is something that I've learned throughout my career. Change is scary for some people, but change is necessary because the world changes, times change, generations change, and as a club, you need to be able to accept and navigate change for the good of your club.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And now, like you mentioned earlier, things have changed compared to when we were kids playing to today. The way even kids learn about the game and how they play it, the way you communicate with them on the field, all that has changed. And you have to evolve also as a club in terms of how you manage all the staff and how you come up with programs to attract people to want to come and play, because that is something you want to do also as a club, to encourage as many people in the community to make their kids want to play the sport in the summer. So it's very important to create that environment where it's going to be a branding exercise when people say, "Oh, CSRDP, yeah, that they're a great club, and I can't wait to bring my child to go and play there in the summer." And the child is enthusiastic to want to register and go and play, and not only to, there's also the social aspect. You want to play and enjoy the sport, but you make friends and you build a community through friendships as well.
Friendships and the it's an outlet, right? So
Hmm.
back when we were playing, our parents didn't have this problem. There was no iPad, there was no PS5, there was no Xbox. We were Our escape was outside. With these kids nowadays, and just as much as I do, Marcello,
Hmm.
they need that escape, and they need sport to distract them from the everydays of school and
Yeah.
and electronics and so on and so forth. So for me, if I can give back, and and we can get them off some of these electronics for small periods of time, 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe maximum 3 hours a week. It's 3 hours less than the parents have to worry about trying to get them off. It's 3 hours of them
Yeah.
interacting with possibly kids that they don't interact with to day to day, and it's amazing. You just make friends, right? And Gianfranco has friends, from other cultures that he would not have had, just because going to a predominantly Italian community school. I thank soccer for that. He has friends that go to other schools. He has older friends. He has younger friends. This
Mhm.
is all because of soccer. It's not because of a magical recipe, and it's very important for our kids to continue this, and continue as much as they can, for as long as they can, uh, because then life kicks in, right? So whether we like it or
Mhm.
not, at a certain point, life will kick in, and realities and responsibilities and choices will need to be made, and then it's not fun and games anymore. But right now, if we can keep it fun and games for as long
Yeah.
as we can, and keep them happy and keep them learning and keep them developing, that's the most that we can do as a club and as parents and as coaches for these kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Steve, before we end our little segment here, I just wanted you to send a message to anyone listening who is eligible to vote. If you can clarify who can vote, we put the date is Monday, November 27 at 7 p.m. If you want to give details of where to go, who can vote, and then explain, because there could be an election, right? If there's more candidates than spots available,
Exactly.
you may need to vote. So,
Exactly. So
yeah.
again, I'm going with every vote counts. And
Hmm.
you go, guys. Like I said, odd number years. If I remember correctly, there will be, if needed, an election for a president for the club. So that's up this year, and then there's administrator one, administrator three, and administrator five. So three administrator spots will be up for grabs. Like I said before, guys, someone like Nick Bagnoli, who is someone that I have, grown up with, and is in the running for whichever spot he's in the running for. Great person, great need. Marco La Molinara, another great person, met before soccer, then through soccer. He's going and he wants to give what he can give to the club. Another great candidate for administrator, right? So, and then there's myself, guys. I'm not only good looking, I actually have a little bit of a soccer brain, and I want to give back. So I try to make things fun. I try to make everybody happy, and unfortunately, that's my Achilles heel sometimes. But like we said, the General Assembly is Monday, November 27th at 7 p.m. It's at Centre Récréatif de Rivière des Prairies, La Grande Salle, on the main floor. That's 7640 Boulevard Maurice Duplessis here in Montreal, Quebec. Guys, a member, according to the bylaws, is someone who is either a coach or a technician at the club. So those are the guys that I'm reaching out to. There many that I deal with on a daily basis. They can come and vote, but in theory, also the non-voting members, so parents who have a kid in the club and would like to see what goes on a general assembly, can also attend this general assembly. You will not have a vote, but you can attend. Martello hit the hammer right on the head. If there's three people for administrator one, well, you will have to vote on which of those three people needs to go in for administrator one. If there's only one person for administrator three, that person will take a seat as an administrator for number three, and we'll move on to administrator number five. From what I remember, in last year's general assembly. Oh no, sorry, there was no vote last year's general assembly. I forgot about that. But in a nutshell, guys, and again, I do most of my talking in English, but as you saw from how I eloquently read the title, je parle français aussi. Mon français n'est pas spectaculaire, mais mon nom c'est Stefano Polillo. Je suis coach de U10 ici à Rivière-des-Prairies. J'ai joué toute ma vie à Rivière-des-Prairies. J'ai grandi dans ce club et je me soumets ma candidature pour administrateur numéro 5 pour l'Assemblée générale lundi le 27 novembre à 7 heures. Je suis un gars qui aime le foot, aime le soccer. Je veux voir le développement des jeunes. Je veux voir ce club passer à un autre niveau. Et je veux le bien pour tout le monde, tous les bénévoles, tous les coachs et tous les administrateurs qui sont au club maintenant. Et je veux travailler avec tout le monde pour améliorer le club. J'ai pas un agenda secret, j'ai aucune. Je suis un gars qui, comme je parle, c'est exactement qu'est-ce que je veux dire. Et je vous souhaite une bonne soirée et j'aimerais que vous votez pour Stefano Steve Polillo, Administrator number 5.
So, Steve, obviously I'm biased when I say this, but I highly doubt there's anyone that cares as much as you do for the good of the kids, for the good of the club, to bring it to another level, to show some new ideas, new way of doing things. Rome wasn't built in a day. You can only do so much, but I'm confident with your abilities that you'll have some progressive ideas of making things better, and I'm hoping you'll get the chance to prove yourself. And if you get the vote, I know if I was able to vote, I would vote for you. But anyone watching, I endorse Steve to be the administrator. He really, really cares about the kids and he
Yeah,
puts them as their number one priority. And I think that's the most important. If you put the
yeah.
child's needs first, everything else just falls into
Falls
place.
into and again, and you reminded me of something actually. I'd like to thank everybody, right? So I did post a lot. I was very vocal that I wanted to, and again, my mindset with this was to be open and transparent and let people know what exactly I
Mhm.
wanted to do. I have the luxury of having this fantastic platform where I could actually spend 30 minutes and tell people what I want to do. So I wanted to take advantage of that, and I want to thank everybody from family and friends to fellow coaches to fellow technicians who reached out, and people from other clubs, Marcello, reached out and wanted to know how they can vote. And that means a lot. It means that people see me for who I really am, someone who wants to just do good for the game at the local level, wants to do good for the club that he's played at his whole life, and again has no hidden agenda and no secrets that he wants
Yeah.
to keep. He's just the way it is the way it's going to always be, and that's transparency for me and honesty. I've lived 40, 41, 42 years on here, uh, on this fantastic planet, and I tried my best to be always honest and fair to everybody that I've met across the board by being straightforward and transparent. So besides that, now the candidature is in. I need the members to come out and vote if we need to vote, and then we need help, right? We It doesn't stop at me. If you're someone from the area that wants to give back and could give back and has time, that's when the club needs you the most, right? From from benevolent to whatever you can do, the club will accept you with open arms, and you just need to make sure that the intentions are right, and what you want to do is on the same page. I'm pretty sure there's no one out there that will refuse benevolent work. So I want to thank you, Marcello, because you've been with me on this journey for more than a year, right? So we talk a lot,
Yeah.
we bounce ideas off each other, and it's a long time. A year is a long time. I had to wait a year, and now it's up to the people that need to vote, right? And if they think that I can bring something positive to the club, well then we'll march forward on this project. If they don't, I'm gonna coach. I'm gonna stay. I'm not retiring, and I'll try again next year, and the year after that, and I won't stop till I get on the board, until I am able to make decisions that help this club for the future of this club now and for 20, 30 years down the line.
Absolutely. And as I said earlier, there's not many people that would be so passionate as yourself and care. So, and look, even just show the T-shirt you're wearing. We haven't seen the logo. There you go. See,
This is
you
the
even have it
50th. I have to second
literally on. Ex- that's celebrate. That's the logo for the 50th
the 50
anniversary.
year logo. Yes, yes.
Okay, there you go. So I know it's important to you. You've been involved in the community so long. So I wish you best of luck. I hope people go out and vote and they support your candidature. I'm a bit surprised the parents can't vote because not all clubs work that way, by the way, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah,
So the voting is limited. So you really got to get the people that can actually vote to show up. So hopefully this video will help in that regard.
yeah.
And you'll let us know how it goes a week from tonight.
A week from tonight is the election, so we'll have an election party. If We'll have an election party, and we'll stream out the results. Maybe we'll go live from the General Assembly.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. So before we go, just wanted to thank also Evangelista Sports who have been supporting our show from the beginning. They not only provide great materials and soccer stuff, shoes, kits, jackets, you name it. They also supply the local clubs with stuff. And that's something that may not too many people may be aware of. They only think of the store where you go and buy things, but they also have the warehouse and they could supply you with all your needs, uh, winter, summer, goalies, players, they have it all. Go visit their store, go to evangelistasports.com. It's Black Friday week sale. They have an amazing uh, promotion going on with
The
different
promotion
things.
is
So
Black Friday. We celebrate the American Thanksgiving Black Friday, just to have our own sale.
exactly. So check it out on their site, and they have a great promotion going on. Take advantage of the great sales. So VP, I wish you best of luck, my friend. I know
Thank you
you'll
very
be an
much,
amazing
Presidente.
asset for the club. You bring a lot of passion, a lot of knowledge, a lot of great ideas, a lot of creativity, which I got to see myself these years. So I know it'll be a blessing for the club and for the community. So best of luck, my friend.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everybody who's tuning in. Let's go.